In ancient times, the fate of an empire rested upon the vision and ambition of a single man. Julius Caesar's remarkable rise and fall changed history, marking the end of a republican system and the birth of imperial rule. This script explores his journey from a military leader with ambitious dreams to a ruler who sought to transform Roman governance. Caesar's bold decision to cross the Rubicon ignited events that captured the imagination of generations. In this narrative, we examine the political tensions, heroic battles, and reforms that defined his career. We delve into dramatic battlefields where courage and strategy clashed, turbulent political arenas that tested resolve, and a dynamic blend of military genius with controversial reforms. The story of Julius Caesar is not merely about conquest. It is a human drama filled with ambition, betrayal, and transformation. As we journey through his legacy, our goal is to provide a clear, relatable understanding of his impact on Rome and the modern world. Prepare to be inspired by a tale of power, passion, and determination. Join us as we uncover the layers of ambition, challenge, and transformation that molded Caesar's extraordinary destiny and reshaped history forever in every new remarkable twist. Rome's political atmosphere before the Civil War was charged with tension and uncertainty. The Senate's conservative faction, determined to preserve the traditions of the old republic, stood in opposition to emerging populist leaders. Among these, Pompey emerged as a symbol of traditional authority, garnering support from the established elites. Yet the arrival of an ambitious Julius Caesar disrupted the balance of power. Caesar's popularity among the common people and his loyal legions rendered him a formidable rival. As senators debated reforms and power sharing, the ruling class found itself divided between preserving long-held customs and embracing change that could dilute their influence. Political maneuvering, heated debates, and corrupt practices deepened the rift. Leaders on both sides exploited these tensions, fueling suspicion and mistrust. Caesar, once a celebrated military commander, soon realized that compromise would not satisfy his ambitions. With the Senate taking measures that threatened his authority, he resolved to act decisively. His crossing of the Rubicon was not merely a military maneuver, but a deliberate challenge to the authority of the state. This bold step set in motion the conflict that would irrevocably alter the Roman political landscape. The loyal citizens of Rome began to take sides, with some embracing the innovative spirit embodied by Caesar, and others clinging to the sanctity of their traditional values. These political tensions foreshadowed the violent struggles to come, as both sides prepared for a confrontation that would decide the fate of Rome. The simmering discontent, mutual distrust, and intense rivalry between old aristocratic forces and charismatic new leaders created a perfect storm that ultimately shattered the fragile stability of the Republic. These brewing conflicts not only signaled the downfall of centuries-old traditions, but also set the stage for dramatic military campaigns that would force Rome to reinvent itself amidst the flames of revolution. Julius Caesar's decision to cross the Rubicon marked the beginning of an extraordinary military campaign that would leave an indelible mark on history. As news spread rapidly throughout Italy, communities recognized the weight of his bold move. Local municipalities threw open their gates to a leader who promised change, and newly recruited soldiers rallied behind him with unwavering loyalty. This unprecedented show of popular support allowed Caesar to mobilize his forces swiftly, positioning him to confront a fractious opposition that was still organizing under Pompey's leadership. In Italy, Caesar's strategic genius was apparent. He was not a conqueror who relied solely on brute force. Instead, his approach combined rapid maneuvers with psychological warfare. By targeting key fortifications and outmaneuvering enemy detachments, he disrupted traditional defenses. When Caesar set his sights on Spain, he encountered initial setbacks, yet his resilience and tactical adaptation turned the tide. The siege of Massalia, a critical juncture in the campaign, demonstrated both his patience and determination, despite the city's initial defiance. As time progressed, Caesar's forces achieved a series of significant victories, forcing Pompey's remnants into difficult positions. His ability to integrate local levies with veteran troops created a dynamic and adaptable force that kept his enemies on constant alert. Each move on the battlefield reflected a deeper understanding of both Roman military discipline and the art of rapid mobilization. The campaign in Spain further showcased his ability to negotiate surrender and mercy, as defeated foes sometimes found themselves welcomed into his ranks. This combination of tactical brilliance and clemency sowed seeds of loyalty that would later prove essential in political struggles. As Caesar's campaign in Italy and Spain unfolded, every conquest not only expanded his territory but also bolstered his reputation as a leader capable of extraordinary feats, setting the stage for Rome's future transformation. Through relentless effort and brilliant tactics, Caesar reshaped the military landscape of his time. His victories in both Italy and Spain were achieved not simply through numerical superiority, but by a clever use of terrain, timely reinforcements, and the unity of purpose among his ranks. Every battle hardened his resolve and refined his strategies. In the chaos of war, his leadership shone as a beacon of innovation, turning adversity into advantage and setting in motion events that would echo throughout the annals of history. His strategic maneuvers and determination continue to inspire leaders, profoundly encapsulating the spirit of change. At the heart of the Civil War lay a series of decisive battles that showcased Caesar's innovative strategies and battlefield prowess. The Battle of Pharsalus remains an iconic confrontation where Caesar, against overwhelming odds, outmaneuvered Pompey's larger and more established force. His daring movements and unexpected tactics led to a disintegration of the enemy's formations, leaving Pompey's army scattered and demoralized. Caesar's use of flexible formations and rapid troop movements proved that adaptability was as lethal as any weapon on the battlefield. Commanders under Caesar quickly learned that every maneuver was part of a broader strategy, not solely focused on defeating the enemy, but also on winning hearts and minds. His ability to predict enemy actions and counter them with timely reinforcements was a testimony to his deep understanding of military logistics and human psychology. In the heat of battle, the chaos of shifting alliances and unpredictable turnarounds only strengthened his resolve. Each skirmish served as a lesson, fine-tuning his leadership and deepening the loyalty among his soldiers. The brilliance of Caesar's strategy lay in his capacity to transform a potential weakness into an opportunity. When his lines were nearly cut off by Pompey's concentrated forces, he quickly regrouped and turned the battlefield to his advantage. His commanders were empowered to make rapid decisions, contributing to a collective effort that celebrated innovation over rigid tradition. This dynamic approach not only secured vital victories, but also redefined the art of warfare in his era. By blending speed, tactical surprise, and a keen sense of timing, Caesar's military campaigns restructured the conflict, ensuring that the future of Rome would be decided by a few brilliant moments of strategy and determination. Under the relentless pressure of war, each tactical decision was scrutinized, and every maneuver carried profound consequences. Caesar's ingenious adaptations, inspired by both experience and instinct, carved his path to victory. His enemies, blinded by their own rigid doctrines, could not anticipate his fluid methods. This phase of the conflict remains a timeless example of how innovation in strategy can ultimately prevail over established might, propelling him to absolute lasting, revolutionary triumph. As Caesar pressed his ambitions eastward, he found himself drawn into the intricate politics of Egypt and Asia Minor. In Egypt, the tale of Cleopatra unfolded as a dramatic chapter in his journey. With both strategic and financial motivations, Caesar intervened in a dynastic struggle between Cleopatra and her co-ruler, seizing the opportunity to secure the region's wealth and stability. His presence in Alexandria not only resolved immediate crises, but also cemented his reputation as a leader capable of balancing military might with diplomatic acumen. Moving rapidly, Caesar turned his attention to Asia Minor, where his encounter with Pharsalus at Zela became another testament to his military brilliance. The swift and decisive victory in this confrontation further solidified his image as an unstoppable force on the battlefield. His campaigns in the East were marked by both rigorous discipline and a flair for adopting local customs to win over regional allies. The integration of these diverse strategies contributed significantly to enhancing Rome's influence beyond the traditional European boundaries. Throughout his Eastern campaigns, Caesar demonstrated an extraordinary ability to adapt and overcome challenges. Coordinating with local rulers and harnessing the power of the sea through his naval allies, he managed to sustain operations far from home. His actions in the East were not driven solely by a hunger for conquest, but were also underpinned by a genuine desire to restore order and prosperity. With each victory, he bridged cultural divides and laid the groundwork for what would later become an expansive empire, one that linked the Mediterranean with the exotic lands of the Near East. Caesar's ventures in the East were as much about political maneuvering as they were about military conquest. His interactions with diverse cultures provided him insights that reshaped his tactics. He embraced diplomacy alongside combat, forging alliances with local leaders. This blend of warfare and negotiation not only expanded Roman influence, but also transformed the region's political fabric. Each campaign served as a building block for the empire's future, echoing with the promise of unity and progress across distant lands. A legacy of vision and unyielding will eternally. After a series of military victories, Julius Caesar solidified his power with an unprecedented accumulation of titles and offices. He assumed the role of dictator for 10 years before being declared dictator for life, reflecting his absolute control over Roman political structures. In addition to serving as consul and holding tribunician powers, Caesar was granted religious honors that elevated his status among both his supporters and his enemies. Each title reinforced his authority and symbolized a shift from a shared republic to an autocratic regime. Caesar's consolidation of power was not solely based on military might, but also through legal reforms and the reorganization of civic institutions. His influence extended into every branch of government, diminishing the traditional role of the Senate and transforming it into an advisory body. The unprecedented blend of formal titles and personal loyalty from his veterans ensured that his word became law. This transformation of political institutions signaled the dissolution of a system that had long been unable to address the needs of a sprawling empire. His long-term vision for Rome went beyond mere conquests. It was about establishing a stable and enduring government that could manage both internal challenges and external threats. Through careful appointments and the restructuring of administrative responsibilities, Caesar laid the groundwork for a government that would eventually evolve into the Roman Empire. His methods were innovative and sometimes ruthless, yet they embodied the pragmatic changes deemed necessary for an empire on the rise. Caesar's unprecedented reforms and power consolidation set a new standard for leadership in a rapidly transforming world. His ability to centralize authority while addressing social and administrative challenges reshaped Rome's future, demonstrating that visionary leadership can both inspire loyalty and command absolute authority. Through these measures, Caesar redefined the very essence of leadership in ancient Rome completely. Upon returning to Rome, Caesar initiated a series of sweeping reforms that touched nearly every aspect of Roman life. Notable among these was the overhaul of the Roman calendar, which transitioned the system from a lunar cycle to a solar-based model. This reform not only corrected seasonal inaccuracies, but also standardized timekeeping across the empire. In addition, he reformed grain distribution policies to alleviate urban hardships and introduced municipal laws that restructured local governance, ensuring that even small communities experienced a fairer administration. Caesar also addressed the systemic issues within the Senate and the civic bureaucracy. By increasing the number of magistracies and expanding the Senate's membership, he aimed to integrate loyal supporters from diverse regions, including rehabilitated soldiers and newly enfranchised provincials. These changes had the dual purpose of rewarding his followers and stabilizing a state that had long suffered from corruption and inefficiency. His administrative overhaul extended to religious institutions as well, where he reorganized priesthoods and public ceremonies to reflect the new order. Every reform was designed to strengthen Rome from within and to promote unity across its vast territories. By blending traditional Roman values with innovative administrative practices, Caesar laid the foundation for a more resilient and far-reaching empire. His policies not only enhanced the quality of life in the capital, but also set a precedent for governance that would influence centuries of imperial rule. By revising the legal frameworks and streamlining public administration, Caesar's reforms not only modernized Rome but also fostered an enduring spirit of unity and progress. His legacy in governance continues to inspire modern administrative systems around the world. These comprehensive reforms revolutionized the way Rome functioned at every level, integrating advanced ideas with age-old traditions to build an empire that could efficiently manage its resources and sustain its vast territorial achievements. As Caesar's power continued to grow, resentment among the conservative Senate reached a boiling point. A coalition of old aristocrats, fueled by fear of losing their traditional privileges, began to plot his downfall. Key conspirators, including former allies like Cassius and Brutus, believed that murdering Caesar was the only way to restore the Republic's honor. They saw his accumulation of power as a dangerous step toward monarchy, undermining centuries of Republican tradition. On the Ides of March, Caesar entered the Senate chamber, unaware of the trap laid out by his opponents. In a moment of shocking betrayal, a flurry of hidden daggers sealed his fate. The ensuing chaos plunged Rome into uncertainty, as the power vacuum left by his death ignited further conflict. The assassination did not simply signal the end of one man's reign. It marked the beginning of a protracted struggle for power that would forever change the course of Roman history. In the aftermath of the assassination, allies and enemies alike scrambled to seize control. The shock reverberated throughout Rome, sparking debates about freedom and tyranny. This pivotal moment set the stage for further civil strife and the eventual rise of a new era in Roman governance. Julius Caesar's life and death marked a turning point in world history. His conquests and reforms laid the groundwork for the transformation of Rome from a republic to an empire. The political, military, and administrative innovations introduced during his rule reverberated through the ages, influencing governance models across continents. His legacy is a powerful reminder that visionary leadership, however controversial, can fundamentally reshape societies. By bridging military brilliance with administrative reforms, Caesar not only expanded Rome's borders, but also fostered a new era of cultural integration and civic order. His enduring impact continues to inspire both admiration and debate, illustrating the timeless struggle between autocracy and republican ideals in shaping human civilization. Today, historians and scholars analyze Caesar's life as a blend of brilliant innovation and profound controversy, recognizing that his actions not only redefined Rome's destiny, but also set enduring patterns for leadership that echo in political thought.